good morning. And I actually have a Cameron with me, so I don't need an emergency backup Cameron. Although apparently I do need to adjust his video, because... there we go. Live is hard mode, but that's okay. Yes. So Cameron often calls in from the road, and that means that his connection is not the most consistent. And whenever the connection drops a little or picks up a little, it changes the frame rate and the resolution that his device pushes the video out at. And I have to deal with that in studio. So, Cameroon, what are we doing this morning? I'll give you a hint. It's baby. The first in a hot minute.
Yeah, we got to give a Totar win, like just for sheer troll epicness. This is good stuff.
We got to give a what now?
Win. This guy so much sack. Hero tech, he attack. This why no more homo erotic rocket ranches. Got it? Got it. Oh jeez. So much wang.
That's right. So the story that is trending in the news right now, oh my God, so much Wang. Wang Chung right upside some heads. There is a... Okay, so backdrop, Reddit. Reddit is called the front page of the internet. It's one of the most used websites on the internet. It's basically a social platform for posting articles and memes and all the like, and there are subreddits. One such subreddit is called Wall Street Bets. And Wall Street Bets just went hard for GameStop. Right? And the Wall Street Bets memes, I've got all kind of stuff pulled up, and it doesn't include that. So, anyway, Wall Street Bets went hard for GameStop. So yesterday, when the entire stock market, as a result of Joe Biden being the president, went tits up. Not quite a full market crash, but ladies and gentlemen,
we had a dip. And no, Krista, we cannot see your comment from before the show started. At least I cannot.
I see. Good morning, guys. I like Bowtie Cameron, but real Cameron is good too. So much sack. Can you see my comment from before you started? Nope. If it's not one of the ones I just read off, then no, we cannot. So let me just pull up a little bit of stock news for you. Because, okay, basically, that's what the stock market looked like yesterday. Red. I mean, so at a time that basically the whole market is just on its way in the tank. GameStop went gangbusters. Over the last couple days, GameStop went from $4 a share to over $300 a share. Oh, Waller asks, how long until this is called an alt-right attack on the stock market? Oh, yeah, it gets better. So, the powers that be have frozen trading on GameStop stocks to protect the hedge funds. But it's too little too late for at least one hedge fund that has gone completely tits up. So they started losing, and they had to borrow money to deal with the shorts. And I'm going to explain shorts to you in just a second. They borrowed money, and then they borrowed money again. And we're talking about billions in losses. And now they've had to pull out of their short position and declare bankruptcy. we're talking about a hedge fund losing more than 40% of its wealth. And I'm not going to say the name of the hedge fund because I don't want to get that wrong. And before I go any further, I'm a sharp dude. I read a lot. I am not a professional financial advisor anymore. I don't have a Series 7 or any of that, right? I'm not. I haven't even kept up my insurance license, which is a fiduciary license, but I am not a licensed fiduciary. I'm not a certified. Right. This does not constitute investment advice. I will make some assertions that are common sense general stuff, but I am not giving you investment advice. Go find somebody else for that shit. So, crashy stock market. Let's just real quick. I'm gonna give you a rundown on how shorts work. So you can go long on a stock, you can go short on a stock. When you go long on a stock, what you've done is you have purchased the stock and you own it. And if the stock increases in value and you sell it, then you make a profit. So if you buy a stock for $4 a share and you buy, 200,000 shares, $200,000 worth at $4 a share, which is what apparently several millionaires and billionaires that actually got involved in this thing did. You just made millions of dollars. There are several people who have reported that by getting involved in this, and their objective was not to make a fortune on this. I'm sure some of them was, but like as a group, the point was, I think, let's go ahead and call this speculation on my part. But I think the point was to hurt the hedge fund rather than to make a buck. Basically, I
think it's even simpler than that. I don't even think it was just to hurt the hedge funds. I think it was kind of an epic troll on their part. It was kind of a fuck you to the entire system. Because, I mean, let's not forget, GameStop has been trying to declare bankruptcy, and this fucks up their ability to declare bankruptcy. The hilarious thing about this is GameStop is still in trouble. Like, their business model is still dying.
Yeah.
Like, that didn't go away.
And GameStop, okay, GameStop is a breed that has lost its value. Alex says it was absolutely to hurt the hedge fund. They were explicit in that intent when they began this. Okay, that's cool. So one of the accusations being leveled against them, this is market manipulation. Okay, I will not say all hedge funds, but generally, what a hedge fund does is they plan on a downturn in a particular stock and they bet against it, right? And hedge funds have gotten in trouble for this before. They take their short position, and again, I'll explain what that means in just a second. I'll get back to that in just a second. But they take their short position, and then they have their talking heads that go out onto all the channels that the plebs watch. The plebs, that's us, right? That's you and me. That's the not Nancy Pelosi's of the world. And they go out and they tell us that, this stock's in trouble and it's time to sell. Because when you sell, somebody who bet it short makes a bunch of money. So like I was saying with the long, you take a long position on a stock, you're betting that it's going to increase in value. So you actually buy the stock and then you sell it when it's worth more money. Just like buying a rookie baseball card while the rookie's still a rookie, and then 20 years later, he's Hank Aaron, and that baseball card buys you a house. Well, so that's how a long position works. A short position, you don't actually buy the stock in a short position. You rent it and then sell it immediately. So, and then you're on the hook for the change in value. But you must replace the difference in value when it's all said and done. So if you go short on a stock and you're wrong, you lose money just like if you went long on a stock and you're wrong. But there's a key difference. When you go long on a stock, you can only lose everything you invested. When you go short on a stock, your potential losses are literally infinite. So think of it this way. Cameron loans me his car because he's going out of the country for a year. As soon as I have possession of the vehicle, I sell it for $5,000. You know, it's an old beater used car. I get $5,000 for the car. A year later, because it generally doesn't happen that the value of a car increases over time, generally, I know that now that I have possession of this asset, it's going to go down in value over the course of the year. So, and I'm just using example numbers. So I sell the car to somebody for $5,000. And then at the end of the year before Cameron comes back, when I have to give him back his car come hell or high water, the car has gone down in value to $4,000. So I buy the car back for $4,000. I sold it for $5,000. I buy it back for $4,000. I made $1,000. I give Cameron back his car. He's still got his car. Nothing has changed as far as his world's concerned because the value of the car was going to decrease in that amount whether he can continue to maintain control of it or not. And I've got $1,000 in my pocket. That's how shorting works. Now, here's where shorting becomes more dangerous than going long. And this, I'll say this goes back to one of my core principles. I think shorting it's not the most dishonest thing that a person can do, but at some level, it just, in my gut, it feels like a dishonest activity. It's not strictly a dishonest activity. I can see a real legitimacy to it. I mean, as a practice, for example, like I just described, I could be a broker of cars that will go unused for the next year, and that would actually be a valuable service. You're going out of town for a year or so, you're a soldier getting deployed for a year, rather than reduce your insurance coverage to just storage to save a little money, but you still have a car that you're making a payment on. Sell the car and buy it back at a reduced value a year later.
Krista, it's not a perfect analogy. We're just trying to make the point.
Well, no, actually, if the person wrecks the car, they're on the hook for that value as well.
But anyhow,
you're assuming a contract there. It's certainly dishonest when you have your analysts going to the media to manipulate the stock downward. Yes, absolutely 100% yes. I agree with you 100% on that, Alex, and that's kind of what I was getting at, is that's the thing that makes it that makes the whole process as a popularized activity inherently dishonest. Now,
self-fulfilling doom prophecy.
Now, let's imagine for just a moment that I take possession of Cameron's car that's worth $5,000. I sell it for $5,000, and then the Tokyo Drift scene, for some reason, just happens to fall in love with that exact model of car. And now, the only way I can buy it back, it's suddenly jumped up to $30,000 in value instead of the $5,000 that I sold it for, because demand has outstripped supply. Well, I still have to give him his car back, which means I'm on the hook for the $25,000 difference because I have to go buy the car. Right? That's how it works. That's how stock shorting works. Now, here's where the car analogy is imperfect. In theory, I could just buy him another car that's of equal value to what the car was when I took possession of it. You can't do that with stocks. When you're talking about stocks, if you shorted GameStop and somebody comes to make a call on the GameStop that you owe, you have to give them the GameStop. You can't say, well, there's this other stock over here, let's call it GameStart, that's still only worth $4 a share. So I'll just replace it with that.
That's not how that works.
Nope. You have to replace the GameStop shares. So that means that, like we just saw with GameStop, people who were short on GameStop bought into it at $4 a share. Okay, if you went long on GameStop at $4 a share, let's say 100 shares, so you're $400, your maximum loss is $400. But if you're in $100 a share and it goes short and it goes up to $300 a share, what is that, a 2,600% change? So you're in the whole bad. I mean, bust out the calculator.
I still gotta say, for me, what's hysterical about this is at the end of the day, GameStop's still gonna declare bankruptcy. Like, this is all just imaginary money. It's hysterical. And
well, it's not all that imaginary.
Education.
Funny thing about imaginary wealth, we need to do a whole fucking show about this. Wealth in a monetary system, wealth begins as imaginary wealth, and it eventually crystallizes. It's a weird thing philosophically, because you're basically talking about it coming from the place where unicorns are and crossing the barrier, the bridge between fantasy and reality, into a place where it's a horse. Ontologically, one cannot say that unicorns do not exist because we have a concept of them, but one cannot also reasonably argue that unicorns actually exist in what we think of as reality, without contemplating the divorce of the extant ontology of the locus of that existence. Just because a thing doesn't physically exist doesn't mean the concept isn't real.
Krista says she's so mad at herself for not picking it up Monday. She could have gotten 9 shares. Don't beat yourself up. I guarantee you, as this web gets untangled, like anytime they freeze trading, please believe that's never a good sign for anybody involved. I highly doubt this would have ended up with you spending $30 and getting 5,000 back.
Right.
I really do.
Real quick, Steve says it's all imaginary if everyone decides it is just paper and refuse to exchange for it. Incorrect. That's only true of the currency, but what I'm talking about is wealth. When wealth is initiated in the debt financial system, it's imaginary because it's a promissory of a quantity of value against which an asset has not been assigned. When it crystallizes across that divide from fantasy into reality is when that assignment of value is used to either produce, acquire, or secure a physical asset. So once it turns into production, or once it turns into product, or it turns into services rendered, then it has become real wealth. And the exchangeable value of that real wealth is independent of the rate of exchange of the currency, which was the original imaginary initiative to begin with.
Still, the point that I was getting at is that in this particular situation, it's literally all imaginary. It's all manipulated, because at the end of the day, GameStop's not making enough money.
No, they're not. GameStop has been murdered by Steam.
Well, GameStop has been murdered by Steam. GameStop.
I'm sorry. It was the Valve Corporation with the DLC on the corner of Main Street.
That was, part of it was, but they're asking about things like Mumble Harriet Tubman be on the money.
If I had my way,
funny.
Never.
Anyhow, no, it just, part of the problem was Steam, yes. But another part of the problem is, like, you trade your games in at GameStop, and it's like the oldest joke in the book. You trade them in for like $3, $4, right? And then they put them back on the shelf, and they sell them at almost full retail value.
Right.
Like if you could buy a used Mario
Well, I could
Kart
save
for
$5 if I
or-
get it without the plastic.
if I buy a used Mario Kart for $40 or a brand new Mario Kart for $50, like, I mean, I guess the $40 is still cheaper, but shit, at that point, just buy the brand new one.
Yeah, I personally have not done a lot of business with GameStop. I sold them a couple of used PlayStations and PlayStation 2s a few years ago, and it was literally because it was cheaper for me to sell them at, for next to nothing than to pay to dump them somewhere.
Anyhow, that's about all I got, man. But seriously, we give total win to the trolls on 4chan that said, "Oh, hey, market manipulation. Watch what weaponized autism can do."
Yeah, and speaking of weaponized autism, I will. I'm going to start doing these top 5 videos, and one of them that I'm about to do is, and I think this might be the honorary number 1 spot, but I'm going to do the top 5. The top 5. I haven't decided how to title it yet, but it'll be the top 5 instances of weaponized autism committed by most of them are going to be from 4chan, but I might just call it top 5 weaponized autism or weaponized autists. And I think this just might be number 1. I mean, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat the political character assassination of it was an suicide of Michael Avenatti. He was conned into politically assassinating himself by 4chan. But look for that in the next couple of days. Oh, and Krista, since you're watching, by the by, I sent you a message on Facebook. You owe me a link. I didn't get it yet. I don't know if you sent it or not. I don't have it. Your video is cut and ready to rock and roll. As soon as I get that link, I'll put those clips in there. So, anything else this morning, Cameroon?
Just real quick, super quick, just want to touch on, if you're the praying kind, pray for Rush Limbaugh and pray for Steven Crowder.
Yes.
We live, it's awfully sad, but Rush is the king of conservatism and traditional media, and Steven Crowder is the king of conservatism on the new media. And Rush has lung cancer, and we found out this week that Steven Crowder has been off the air for a month because he's got a severe heart problem that's going to require surgery. So,
and
can we please stop having our conservative icons fall down the wrong way?
And to quote Crowder, the way Crowder put it, he's going to have the kind of surgery that's whatever the opposite of minimally invasive is. That would be maximally intrusive.
Yes, yes. But that's all I got this morning. I got to go back to work. It is what it is.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Firearms Friday. Make sure you tune in, and we'll see you then. Be safe out there.